Hi, how are you? Okay, so let's go to brush boot camp. How about that? We're going to do eye brushes today. These are just the basic ones, okay? These are all the basics, the ones that you're going to need. But it can be confusing as to what does what. So let's talk about that, okay? The best value ones are the dual-ended ones, okay? If you're new to using brushes or you just don't feel very accomplished with using brushes, I would highly recommend. I'm cleaning the sponge end of this with a baby wipe and it's not going well. It's very fuzzy now. I've gotten a lot of the fuzz off, but it's still very fuzzy. Anyway, if you're new to it, if you're nervous about it, I look like I have a mustache. What is the deal? I'm so distracted. Okay. Okay, whatever. So this one is going to be the one that is going to help you the most. This has the typical sponge applicator that if you're of a certain age, this is all we had back in the day. It came with your eyeshadow and so you used it. This is very good for lid shades, okay, or for adding a dab of highlighter. This end is very good if you are nervous about dark colors, and how to apply them and where to apply them. Because you're going to take this angled end and you're going to just put it right here and then you're going to swipe across, okay? It's not the one I really use anymore, but it's the one I started out using when I was figuring out how to up my makeup game by using brushes. So there's that one. This one is going to be, if you just wanted to take this one to travel with, that would work well too. I would tell you everybody needs a blending brush. Everybody needs a blending brush. What's a blending brush? It's a little domed, okay? Some of them aren't domed. I like the domed ones. Some of them are just flat, okay? But they're very loose, very broad, very wide, and the bristles are very soft, okay? This is going to help you apply your transition shade. It's going to help you blur the lines of any shadows that you have on, which is why everybody needs one, because blending really is the key to great eyeshadow application. So this would be a brush that I would say everybody needs, okay? Then the other extreme would be a crease brush, okay? A crease brush is for darker shades or more precise placement of a shade. If you're creating a certain look and you need a glitter to be only in one teeny tiny place, then you would use a crease brush, okay? I'm going to show you how they apply differently. With Unique's brushes, a great balance between the two is this one. See how it looks like this one, but it's looser, but it's not as full as this one. This is the fluffy crease brush. This one is just really an amazing brush. So you can apply your dark shadows with this one if you go slowly and apply in layers, okay? You can also blend with this one if you are just looking to not have so many brushes, or you're just wanting to know what you should take for travel. Could maybe get away with taking this one instead of this one. You would just need to be able to clean this brush off in between. That's the other advantage of having several brushes. Okay, one of my favorite brushes is this liner shader brush, okay? This is the graduation to this, okay? Even though this is a brush, when you're applying with this brush, your lid color, okay, or your highlight color, or I put a very light color here because I have darkness there, then you're going to want to pat with this. So it's a brush, you're going to want to paint with it, but you're not going to do that with this brush. You're going to pat, especially if you're using shadows that have lots of shimmer or glitter in them. It's going to reduce the fallout. It's also, by patting, going to help you use less product because you're not brushing it into the air or letting it fall down on your cheek, okay? Now, a brush that's very different from all of these is a cream shadow brush. You can see that it's made of something different. It's a brush, but it looks more like what you would paint with, like an oil paint brush, okay? It's very together. Get it to focus there, okay? This is going to be used for creamier or wetter eyeshadows. So like with liquid shadow, you could use this with liquid shadow. I like to use this one when I want to move the liquid shadow. So if I'm wearing a darker shadow and I want to be sure of where I place it, I will use this to be sure of where I placed it and then blend it out with my finger. Or if you're really wanting your pressed powder to really pop, to really be very prominent, then you're going to use this and get it wet. You could use it dry too. It'd be a little more than a regular brush, but getting it wet and using that is also going to really help your eyeshadow pop. This is also a great lip brush and a great concealer brush. So there you go. Okay, so let's look at the difference in the way they apply shadows. Let's see. Where am I going to do this where you can see? Okay, we're going to do it here, I think. All right, I'm going to start with the blending brush. And I'm just going to use in palette 10, I'm going to use this transition shade so that you can all see my scrapbooking squares. Well, let's use a darker color so you can really see. Let's do that. Let's do this darker brown right here, okay? That way you can see how the difference is and how all of them apply. So this is going to make it much more diffuse, okay? And then I'm going to layer it a little bit so you can see. So see how that's applying in a much more diffuse area? So the color is not going to be as intense. No matter the color. No matter the color. It still looks like I have a mustache. And I don't have a mustache. I don't know what's going on with the lighting today. Okay, so now let's switch to the fluffy crease brush. Same color. Same color. So it's going to go on more intensely. See how the brush doesn't flare out as much? See how it's gotten smaller? The area of where it's applying is smaller. Now let's go to the fluffy crease brush. See how much more intense that went on with just one color? Because it's all going in the same small area. Got it? I hope this is helpful. Okay, so let's do the liner shader brush. This has a liner in on it. And if you have more mature skin, if you're of a certain age like me, and you have more mature skin, this is really helpful to help you transition into using powders for your liner instead of eyeliner, because that skin is not quite as taut. So if you're interested in that, that's good. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to pat it. Very intense, very small area. And if you notice, there was very little flyaway. That's also a measure of how good your eyeshadow is as well. How much flyaway, how much of it stays where you're putting it, or how much goes into the air. Okay, so let's use the liner end of it. Okay. Now, that's not a thin line, obviously. I wasn't trying to get a thin line, but you can see how intensely it goes on by using a very compact, small brush. All right, let's do this one, okay, because I think some of you would really be comfortable with this one. So again, it's going to be more intense in a smaller area, but the shape of it really helps you be able to apply it where it's supposed to be. The reason I stopped using it is because, yes, it gets it where it's supposed to be, but it's difficult to get it out of the crease area enough for it to actually work for you the way it should, okay? And then this end, the old sponge style. Okay, see, not as intense. You have to really get it on there. Does that help? Okay, so let's do a crease brush, and I have some water here. I can get it a little wet. I didn't drink all my water. I'm not putting my brush in my water. I'm getting my finger wet. For those of you that were concerned. Okay, so now I'm going to dip it into that brown. And this is really going to up the intensity. See? That's all the same color. Got it? I hope this was helpful. If you need any help, just message me or comment here and I'll get back to you. We do have several brushes on sale right now, so now might be the time. Also, it's time for me to wash all my brushes, and that's another video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.